Good evening and welcome to episode 9 of Your Questions, Dr. Lamba's Response. Today I have an assortment of questions, not very many in quantity, but qualitative wise, they are pretty good. The first question is from Abdul Majid, and he has raised a question saying that Modi, in the recent event, Howdy Modi in Houston had said, Ab ki baar Trump Sarkar. Is this not an interference in US politics? And he goes on to say, if the Democrats had objected to indirect or prompted Russian interference, why is this open interference being tolerated? Now, as far as the second part is concerned, I'll take that up first, why the Democrats are not objecting. It is for the simple reason that most of the Americans of Indian origin are Democrats. And they don't want to annoy those Indians and lose their vote banks. And if you go by exactly what the meaning of interference would be, it's not an interference. He has expressed a wish. Interference would mean either provoking or discouraging or promoting. He did say that Trump is the closest friend India ever had. He did say that he is a name known all over the planet. But then all those facts are known facts. He never told people to elect Trump in the forthcoming elections. But yes, implicitly, he told people that because you 59,000 people here are people of Indian origin, and he is a person who has soft corner for India, whether it's because of economic reasons or political reasons, or because he's against Islamic terrorism. He suggested that the government by Trump should again be there, that Trump should again be taken oath in 2021. Now, the point is, we say that, but which country does not interfere indirectly and even directly? What is happening is when you are in a global world and when the media is very strong and when the social media becomes so predominant, then you can't ignore it. You make any statement and it can be interpreted in any way. Here, Modi made an open public statement. He can be criticized or he can be praised depending on your affiliation and your interest. But there was no innuendo, there was no indirect hint. So he can say, well, that's my wish. Nevertheless, what Russia is alleged to have done, though the Mueller report says that there is no reality in that allegation, and that's why I said alleged to have done, is that he promoted Trump and spent money there. Now, spending money by any government is prohibited by law everywhere. And yet, are you aware that Obama had spent $30 million, hired Tide Organization of California to ensure that Harper is defeated? Wasn't that an interference? And that was a blatant fact, not everybody. 30 million was one-time payment, and according to the experts, the security experts, it was repeated 10 times, so 300 million were spent. That sort of interference is insidious attack on the sovereignty of the people. And what Modi said was in a mood of exuberance. You saw how Trump was treating him with gloved hands, full of affection, full of love. And this is for the first time in the last 20 years I've seen Trump playing a second fiddle to another leader. He was being led. He was not the leader at that time. He was playing, as I said, the second fiddle. So I know some people in India even, for example, this guy, Rahul Gandhi said that there's an undue interference in USA as if he represents USA. So that is basically nothing but what I call cherry picking for no purpose. He said it openly. And the Democrats, not a single one has objected. None of the presidential candidates. The House leader was there. He didn't object. The speaker, she couldn't come. She sent her apology, but she has not objected. So if they are not objecting, my friend, why are you bothered? The second question is from Harold Jackson. He is from Scotland, and he writes, what are your views on Supreme Court judgment in Boris Johnson case regarding the suspension of British Parliament? Well, Harold, the courts everywhere, whether it's England, whether it is USA, whether it's India, except in Canada, they are becoming extremely active. Even in Pakistan, they are becoming active, but Canadian courts are still not very active. And these courts think that they are the real powers, which they are not. In fact, they are the third pillar of any democratic setup. Executive, legislature, and the judiciary all are at par. But since judiciary has the power to interpret, they interpret it. Now the tragedy is that in England there is no written constitution. And the convention has been that it's a prerogative of the Prime Minister to suspend or even to dissolve the parliament. And it's not he who has done it, it's the Queen who has done it. And the King, here Queen, can do no wrong in the British law. And if Queen can do no wrong, how can the order of the Queen be declared to be illegal? This is a contradiction in terms. Queen's orders are not subject to the judicial review. The orders of the President of USA, of the Prime Minister and the President in India, of the Prime Minister and the authorities in Pakistan, all over, they are subject to the judicial scrutiny, judicial review. But the Queen is not subject to the judicial review. So this judgment is basically politicalized statement. I won't call it a judgment. And if Boris Johnson just ignores it, court can't do anything. They can't put him in jail. Don't forget, even in USA, Supreme Court had once given a judgment which went against the decision of the president, and the President Andrew Jackson. He said, okay, Supreme Court has given the judgment, now let it implement it, because implementation has to be done by the executive. This judgment is basically striking at the root of the constitutional system of UK. It's almost like a revolution. And as a matter of fact, I've written something which I'll be publishing tomorrow, that the British Supreme Court judgment has brought about the third revolution in England. The first revolution was when Prince Charles was beheaded and Oliver Cromwell came in power. The second was the glorious revolution when William and Mary from Holland came and became the king and the queen. And this is a third revolution. I'll call it the judicial activist revolution. But it's not in consonance with the Constitution. It is biased, it's naive, and it's fraught with danger. The third question is, again, from Iqbal Khokhar. Iqbal Khokhar hasn't written from where he is. He has just written Ontario, and he writes, when Imran Khan was talking with President Trump, he was counting the beads of tasbih. Now, tasbih is like mala in India, and the devout keep on counting the beads, uttering the name of the God. Now, Imran was doing so he asked for my comments. A, it's bad manners. You don't show your religion in public. You have come for a high-fi meeting with the president, the strongest man in the world, and you are counting the beads of tasbih. That is not done. But I was listening to some Pakistani journalists today, and one of them remarked that this is because his wife, who considers herself to be a Pirni is like a goddess, she goddess. She told him that he should always have a tasbih in his hand, so he'll be protected. Unfortunately, he was not protected, because immediately after the meeting, when the press conference was there, President ridiculed the Pakistani journalist, saying, from where have you brought these specimens? And as a matter of fact, are you aware that Prime Minister Imran Khan had gone on Hajj barefoot? Because his wife had told him, don't go and don't wear shoes. Everybody goes, but they remove the shoes before they enter the Kaaba. But here, no, he went barefoot all the way. And according to the people, the fourth wife of Imran Khan considers herself to be Pirni. She says God talks to her and she gives the directives. So Imran is at least listening to his wife. He didn't listen to the three earlier wives. He has been an atheist all the time. And now he's a devout Muslim, nothing wrong with that. But yes, it's bad manners. Now imagine if in United Nations every religion is represented and the leader of every country brings forth his religious symbol. The Sikh bring in their khanda, the Hindus bring in their conch and start playing on the conch. The priests bring their, or the Christians bring their cross. This is not done. And the Jews bring their menorah. So how would you feel? It will really be a nice show, but it will be burlesque. It will be comic. Nobody will take it seriously. Imran should not have done it. That's not only bad manners, but it betrays of confidence. Secondly, what was he showing to the people that he doesn't have confidence in himself? And thirdly, he was being impolite to the president. Was he listening or was he praying to God? So either he was being dishonest to God or he was being dishonest to the discussion. Now take your pick. And the fourth and the last question today is from Surjit Sundaraj. How do you rate Howdy Modi event? Howdy Modi event in? Well, it was a great show where Modi openly challenged Pakistan, openly stated that President Trump is with him, and President Trump echoed that when he talked of the Islamic terrorism. He didn't say terrorism, he said Islamic terrorism. It was a great show when both leaders praised each other And when Trump later on says that Modi is capable of handling the terrorists in Pakistan and is capable of handling matters in Kashmir and is a father figure, I think that nothing more can be said. And apart from that, 59,000 people gave a rousing ovation to Modi when he talked of removing Article 370. And then he again asked them to give a standing ovation to Trump. And the purpose was, look, Trump is with us. So this was a clear success of Modi, both diplomatic, political, and PR, public relations. 50 senators and House of Representative members were present there. And they were not only from Republican, even the majority leader from the House was there. Kamala Harris, Tulsi Gabbard, and Nancy Pelosi had sent regrets because they had prior appointments. So this was a show which was bipartisan, both parties supported it. And Indian version was upheld, accepted. It was a great victory, propaganda-wise. And then it is a stepping stone to the new trade deal, which would be signed before Modi comes back. And another thing, in November, there's going to be a great exercise in which India, Japan, and USA would be participating. And all the three forces, Navy, Army, and Air Force will be participating. This is happening for the first time. So, how I rate it? Excellent diplomatic maneuvering, great public relations, and consolidation of ties with America. As a matter of fact, it's resetting the ties. And not only resetting, but resetting and cementing the ties. And the balance of benefit, don't forget. Read my article tomorrow and you'll have the complete details. And with that, our episode today comes to an end. And we meet on Friday, same time. Thank you.